Hey guys, welcome to the weekly challenge live stream for Yousician. I'm Alexis, and I go by the name Alexis Yousician in the guitar learning app, Yousician. Each week, Yousician releases challenges of 2 songs in varying difficulty levels. Users compete for high scores on the leaderboards. Each Sunday, I play through all the songs on guitar and break each one down for you, so you can reach your goals faster and post higher scores. Hey guys. Wow, that's quiet. So we've got chiptunes. The original chiptunes, at least. Oops, there we go. That's wrong place. There we go. Getting things organized here. For some reason, every time I restart up OBS, it just gets all weird. It's driving me crazy. Anyway, kind of like Julian driving me crazy. So the chiptunes thing, what's with the whole chiptunes? There's been, I don't know if this is the second or third chiptunes challenge that there's been, but it's definitely not the first one. And chiptune ones just generally have a tendency to be, well, they're they're written on keyboard, so they tend to be for guitar really awkward to play, and that's the case with this one. That one section is at part 4. Let's just take a look in the practice session here. Whoops. I think it's part 4. Yeah. Part 4, people have been talking about part 4 a lot, and I'll break that down in a bit. I'll do a run through, and I'm telling you right now, it's probably not going to be a great run. It's just really, it's hard. It's awkward. It's just, and I'll explain why it's awkward in a bit. But it's just the order of notes, the way that things land. It's sort of like a weird pattern that is just really, it's just not natural on a guitar, and it's awkward in the sense of your left hand fingers, and it's awkward in the sense of where your pick has to go. So anyway, I'll do a run through it. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that great. I don't have this one down in the least. Like, it's there and it's not there, and it's there and it's not there. It's just not consistent, right? I'll get a good run, and then the next run will just be a total disaster. So it's really hit and miss for me. So I make no promises. I'll do it, and I'll break it down. I'm just going to change my tone here because it's a little too heavy sounding in my opinion. right.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
Did I? Nope, didn't bump anything on for scores. Let me get rid of that music. Take a look at the scoreboard here. Usual suspects up at the top. We've got Samuel, of course, and Christian Blue, of course. Typical people up at the top. And yeah, it's let me break this one down for you. Oh, how I wish I had that practice button back. Anyway, but many of you people have been talking about that they wish they had the practice button, which got taken away. It's got, like, it was there, and then it got taken away, and then they brought it back, and then they took it away again, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So, a lot of, I mean, if we look up here, like if we look up here at the notation, you can see that the rhythms are a bit, you know, it's, even if you don't understand notation, like, there's a lot of different things that are going on up here, just from a visual standpoint, even if you don't understand how rhythm works. There's a lot of, like, different symbols here, and if there's a lot of different symbols, that generally means that there's going to be some pretty tricky rhythms happening, right? If you see just the same symbol over and over and over again, it's generally going to be a pretty easy rhythm. But even if you don't understand the rhythm, like I said, there's just a lot of different stuff here, and it's you know, very syncopated. So that's just, again, learning the sound of it. Sit down and just listen to the song and what it sounds like. Here, switching over to triplets. So a lot of sort of recurring rhythmic themes. So that kind of thing. And then we switch over to triplets. So triplets being 3 notes per beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. The scale pattern that's happening in here is very much A harmonic minor, I think. Yeah, A harmonic minor. So if you haven't played scales or songs that use that scale, this is going to be a little bit difficult. There's going to be your fingers are going to want to, and even your ear is going to be gravitating toward regular minor sounds, probably even subconsciously. So this part here, that might sound wrong to you. So this typical minor sound, that note. So this whole, it's a bit of a more tense sound. So that might sound, you know, just wrong, like I said. That's a... Sorry, I'm playing the wrong note. So... Yeah, there we go. So that basically it's a G sharp to A there. So that might sound simply incorrect to you if you're not used to these sounds. So you might want to spend some time looking, you know, you might want to look up an A minor pentatonic scale just to get used to that G sharp in there. So, blah, 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 blah. There's a perfect example of that part might sound a little sour to you if you're not used to it. This descending theme again, and let's get to it. This one here, it's just a rhythm that you have to get used to. So I would even just take that one and try to get that one down. Let's see here. This part here, hammer-ons and pull-offs. So that's a bit tricky because of, you know, using that fourth finger. That pattern there is a tricky one to hold and maintain for your left hand, so it really requires a lot of strength there. And basically, the part that I'm assuming you guys are having trouble with is this right here, starting at this point. So part of it is going to be the rhythm. So 8th note to 16th notes, 1E, and a 2E, and a 3E, and a 4E, and a 1E, and a 2E, and a 3E, and a 4E, and a... But weird fingerings. Again, if you haven't done the harmonic minor thing, that's going to be tricky. So part of it is going to be the muscle memory of your fingers, the fingers, but it's also, you know, this one isn't that bad. So the difficulty with this part anyway, I'll explain it anyway, is this whole, you go forward, then you go backward, then you go forward, then you go backward, this whole sort of zigzagging type of pattern. And this is difficult in any scale. Like if I play an easy scale, like an A minor pentatonic scale, even though that's a pretty easy scale and most people can learn that and play it with relative ease, if you were to do some of the similar concept, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Like if you go, let's say, go up 3 notes, or up 4 notes, and then go back 2 notes, and go up. You know, those kinds of patterns. You know, those are tricky ones, so if you haven't played those, this is going to be tricky as well. So, and that's on an easy scale. So you take it and you apply that to an unfamiliar scale, and well, now the difficulty is ramped up. The second part that's pretty tricky here is that not only are you going forward and backwards, so you're doing this zigzag forward, backward kind of thing. So forward, but then now we're adding these skips. Instead of just going through the scale going up again, now we're skipping up to a higher note. Skip up again. So you go up, down, skip, skip to a higher note, go down, skip to a higher note, go down, and then down, back up. So that's pretty tricky stuff, you know, just a whole lot of zigzagging of going forward, and now you're adding the skips. Pretty tough stuff. This is just a pretty fast sequence. If you're not, you know, this is the reason why I can do that is I've practiced a whole bunch of scales. That whole pattern there is fairly comfortable to me because I've done it with lots of scales. This is basically a sequence, sequencing fours. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going through the scale. And that's a whole other lesson in itself of just understanding how to do sequences. So I'm not going to get too deep into that. So, but that's what you want to be able to do for that part is sequencing fours. And then the part that messes me up. This part is reasonably easy, and that's just straight up. All right. That is a little tricky rhythmically of all those stops. Silence, silence. So I'm muting. A whole lot of muting, actually. So with my right and my left hands, depending on which is comfortable. This is pretty awkward. And then the one that kills me every time. Well, not every time, but a lot of the time. So same thing, this is that zigzaggy kind of thing. You go forward, backward, jump up, go backward, jump up, go backward, jump up, backward, jump. that's weird. It's a weird pattern. It's a weird order of notes. You know, you could continue through the scale. So you can do it in reverse order as well. So pretty tricky stuff. And then these parts here, there's two sections here. This part. I uploaded, that's tricky for me, so I uploaded this exercise called mixed picking and legato, and that's what this is about, is like you're picking some of the notes, and then you're doing pull off or hammer on some other ones. So mix, when it goes back and forth like that, me personally, I'm not that great at it. So that's something that I, uploaded that for my own, purposes of trying to improve on that. So anyway, that one's pretty tricky. I think for level 11, it's like mostly not that hard if you're good with rhythms, but that section 4 and into 5 is gonna probably, mess you up quite a bit. So anyway, that's that one. And like I said, later on, I'm gonna be talking about those exercises that sort of help me get better at that mixed picking and stuff, and a whole whack of exercises, to be honest. So that's that one. I don't think I need to do another run of that. I think that's probably about as good of a run as I'm going to get today without being really, really warmed up. So I'm going to switch over to bass, and I'll mute for that. Okay. This one has some of my weaknesses in the sense of string skipping, especially for my right hand. My right hand is not that great with that. So let me do a run, and I will break some things down.
Almost perfect. Next time, you'll nail it.
All right. Let me get rid of that music. All right, Aziz is taking off. Thanks for coming out, man. You can always watch the rest of the video later. Thanks for coming out. Yeah, and check out the exercises. I have some explanations with some of those things, so you might want to, pay attention to how I describe how you're meant to play those things. So, anyway, see you later. Okay, getting back to this one. 29th position, and again all the usual suspects at the top for bass, and there are some right out of the gate, for me at least. The most awkward part of this is the beginning of it. I'm just it's something that I have to improve upon, which is these string crossing things. That kind of stuff. So the left hand is basically a chord. So that whole thing, I'm just thinking one shape. Don't think too much about separate notes. Like, even though I separate the notes, like I don't play it where everything's bleeding over top of each other. It's just, especially on bass, it's really muddy sounding. I'm separating them, but I'm thinking shape. I'm thinking that shape. And then basically it's the same concept, same idea, and you move it up. Again, I would, do some exercises with your right hand of being able to change strings comfortably. Even if you use a pick, it's still a little bit awkward. I'm way better with a pick doing that than I am if I. Pretty rough for my right hand, so I'm not the greatest with that. But that, for me, right from the start, is pretty tricky. And this whole triplet thing, mixing up, going from triplets into, say, straight eighth notes or half note. No, that's not too bad in the very beginning. Actually, it's mostly just triplets. But later on, it'll mix. But most of this, even this part here, a lot of the same rhythms over and over and over again, not terribly fast. So that shouldn't be that difficult. If you're not very good at triplets, then obviously this one is going to be a good one for you to work on, and it's going to take some practice trying to just. You might want to just spend time with a metronome, just doing. And just getting that feel down, because there's a whole lot of that for this one. To be honest, there's not a lot of difficulty going on with this one until we get to here. So now we're switching over to 16th notes, and you could cheat in the sense of not doing the rests, but it doesn't quite sound as cool. So you could go and not mute, but it sounds cooler that way if you mute. It requires some speed with both hands, mostly your right hand. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all there is to this one as far as, tricky parts. The rest of it is just learning rhythms, and that's, just listening or reading if you're good at. I keep forgetting that we have the standard notation. So if you can read music, that just makes life a whole lot easier now that you can actually read the standard notation and get the rhythms right. That's what I do every once in a while. It's just like if I'm not playing the rhythm correctly, I'll just stop and I'll just read what the rhythm is up here and get that into my head. sometimes even just counting it out, like 1 and 2E, 1 and 2E, and, you know, etc. Blah, 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 blah. For that stuff. But yeah, I think that's it. This ending gets me, though. One and 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Oh, it's 1 4 E and 1. No, 3 E and 4. So that's pretty tricky. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 1. Man, I'm messing this up. Oops, there's my alarm. Whoops. Anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time with that. Sitting here counting in front of you guys. Anyway, let's switch back to guitar. I have a whole crap load of exercises to talk about. Some of them are, well, all of these exercises are exercises that are for me, in the sense that things that I wanted to work on, but I put in a slower speed to make it a little bit more accessible, in the sense that hopefully, you know, more of you guys can play it and it'll help you guys out, versus me just putting something up there that's just my speed and way too fast for all of you guys. So let me mute and I'll switch. Okay, one thing I forgot, I was going to do a breakdown of Bhangralicious. I'm not quite sure where that one is. I might have to do a search for it. Which mission level? So, it's not bending. Express yourself, possibly. If I can't find it right away, I am going to do search. So, and I think I have to do search. The only problem is there are different versions of that one. So, basically it's weird. One has, like, they're both the same level, but one has 18 parts, which is strange. And the other one has 9 parts, and I don't understand why that's the case. So they're pretty much the same concept, which is, let me just take a look at this one here. That's the same idea as the other one. I don't know if they're really all that different. It says 6 parts, so let me take a look. So this as well. Yeah, it looks like it's the same thing. It's just broken up into smaller parts. So I'll do this one. I'll do a run through. I haven't played this in a while, so I'm sure this will be rough. So, and then I'll break it down. not a great run. But I haven't played that in a long time. I don't even know the last time I played that one. But it's been a while. So let me break that one down. This is just a pattern. So, and also swing or shuffle feel. So I'm going to get into that with an exercise after this to sort of help you be able to play this. So, so I'll just not talk about the shuffle at this point. But this is just a pattern, playing it over and over and over again with its alternate ending. So, and it's like a pentatonic idea. So if you're familiar with pentatonic scales, this part here is going to be fairly familiar as far as fingering goes. And then there's just that ending. Really not much to talk about here. Again, it's just drilling that into your hand. And then this part here, this is the part that even I had trouble with. Because it's just this mix. You do legato and then you pick, and then you do legato and then you pick, and it's just that back and forth thing of... So there's 3 notes that it's one pick stroke, and right away you have to pluck a note. Same thing, so that same theme. So that was, I would always mess up that one of those picked notes right after the legato. So for me, that was the difficulty with this. And again, I have an exercise that will, hopefully address this problem. So I'll get to that later. But that's, those are the basic problem spots with this one, is that, being able to get, hammer-ons and pull-offs, and then pick, and then and that back and forth kind of thing. So that's, that repeats. This is easy. String skipping. Excuse me. So there's a little bit of a tricky thing. So again, isolate these parts and practice the problem spots. So don't just play from beginning to end and hope for the best that you're gonna. That's the biggest mistake that people make, is that when they want to get better at something, they just play it over and over and over again, and then they wonder why they've been spending months on something and not getting in there. It's just like, you probably have a problem spot, and address that problem spot. Don't just play the whole thing. Practice and improve on the part that you aren't very good at. Just focus on that. So, and then a new theme. And this part gave me some trouble because, again, awkward. Yes, Julian. Awkward fingerings. So, ow! He's digging into my knee. So this is sort of similar to the current level 11 challenge, in that you climb, you skip up to a higher note, and then you descend. Those are always really awkward patterns when you change direction, or you do a leap and then you change direction, right? Those are really climbing up the scale, skip to a higher note, descend. Pretty weird, awkward fingering, so that might be a problem spot for you as well. And then after that, we're back to that single string thing, and we are back to the beginning. So, let me show you the exercises. that hopefully will help you guys be able to play that. One is the working on your shuffle feel. So shuffle exercise, pretty easy thing to remember to look for. So basically, this is going to run through several different types of rhythms, and it's just all about solidifying the differences between all of these sounds in your head. So this is pretty easy, and this is all played with a very, very typical standard blues riff. So you really should memorize these patterns. This blues riff is going to come back again and again and again. So these are just quarter notes, pretty easy stuff. Okay, so here's where lots of time in here, and I actually have to go into practice mode. So basically, that was just quarter notes, really easy. Basically, the whole part was just to establish what your left hand, your fretting hand, was going to be playing. This next part, it just moves up one fret, and now we're doing eighth notes. Now, this is shuffle is for the most part done with eighth notes. And this is just to, again, establish a new thing before you actually get into the shuffle concept. So this next part is not shuffle, but again, it's preparing you for the shuffle. So it's just two notes on each. Often called straight eighths. Alternate picking with your right hand, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so this next part here is kind of not shuffle. What it is a dotted eighth note to a 16th note. So this is within the realm of shuffle, but it's not really. It's a little too abrupt, a little too clinical sounding, a little too it's just choppy sounding. So this isn't really how you want to play shuffle, and technically isn't really shuffle, but it's a good extreme in the sense of getting the feel for the triplets, which is coming up next. And the contrast of how choppy this sounds to a little bit more smoother sound of the triplet feel. So I'll do this one. Okay, so again, the whole point of that is to get that feel. Again, it's a bit choppy, and it's going to have a bit of a contrast to this next part, which is going to sound smoother with a triplet feel. So, hopefully you can hear that.
Almost.
Congratulations.
If you can't hear that, then that's probably a good sign that you should practice this. So you should be able to really hear a distinct difference between the dotted eighth section and the triplet feel section. So that's like it's just like I said, it's choppier, and the reason is because on the dotted eighth note, the first note is a lot longer, and the last note is works in pairs. So there's pairs of notes. The first note is in the dotted eighth. First note is longer, and the second note is a lot shorter, so it sounds more abrupt and choppy. And then the triplet feel sounds smoother. Now, shuffle in real world is a range of feeling between these two, and even between that and the eighth notes, the straight eighths. So it's a range in there, and some players, the really good players, control that. They will have a choppy shuffle, and they will have a more a straighter sounding shuffle. So that is the ultimate goal is that you can control it. So in the app, it's only one thing, and the app is triplet feel. So in this exercise, if you listen to the drums, if you listen to the hit, you want to try to match that hit as closely as possible. So if you're matching the drums, you're really, it's going to be easier to get perfect hits on. And that's what the app is looking for. That's what the app is sort of expecting. So that's really, as far as just purely trying to improve on it in app, that's what you want to do. Okay, so in the level 11 song and the Pharaoh song, as well as Bhangralicious, there is these mixed picking and legato patterns. So that's what this is about. This one, you really have to make sure you do not cheat. Okay, so basically, once you've switch to practice mode, once you've looked at the very first pattern, it's going to look exactly the same. When you get to this is the variation, first variation. And the first variation is going to look exactly the same. Every single one of these patterns is going to look exactly the same. So if you're purely going for score, you can cheat. You don't have to do the hammer-on where it says to do a hammer-on. You don't have to do a pull-off where it says do a pull-off. But if you really want to improve on this technique, you got to stop. You have to pause. You have to look at, you have to analyze, basically, where do I do the hammer-on pull-off? So if you look at this one, the hammer-on happens, there's going to be a hammer-on on the 8 to 10, and there's going to be a pull-off from the 8 to 7. If you look at the very first one, there's a hammer-on, like there's 2 hammer-ons in a row, and then a plucked note, and then 2 pull-offs in a row. So it's a different pattern. If you look at the third pattern, the hammer-on happens on the first note versus the second note, etc., etc. So each one of these is a different pattern. So me playing this, you're probably not going to get exactly what I'm doing, because it's going to sound mostly the same. It's just it's subtleties. So this one here is the very first one. You might notice it from the first one into the second one really easily, because there's just a smoothness to this. So I'll do this again. Oops. Helps when you're in the right fret. So I'm plucking 2 notes. Pick, pick. So this one here, I'm gonna pluck. So I'm plucking 2 notes and then doing the legato here. This one here, I'm gonna pluck, do legato, pluck 2 notes, legato. So it's the combinations are constantly changing. So each one has a slightly different feel. So that one I wasn't even playing that one correctly. That one should have been. So each one is going to sound a little bit different. And I'm still sort of struggling with these because it's, again, I created this because it's a personal weakness of mine. So I put 2 speeds in here, and then here's another one. It's just a different pattern. This one's, I won't get into that one too much, but you get the point. This one here is, the first one was triplets. This one here is 16th notes. So I'll just show you what it is, but I won't play through it. So this one here is just a different thing again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different patterns as far as what your left hand is doing. And again, you want to stop. You can't just play through this because a lot of it's going to look exactly the same. The order of notes are exactly the same for every section, but where you place the hammer-ons and where you place the pull-offs is constantly changing. So tough stuff, at least for me anyway. So there's that, and I wanted to play for you guys something that I wrote. It is a tapping piece, and this is one of those kind of songs that it's really difficult to get a gold star run of this because it's just so the dynamics are all over the place. There's a lot of quiet, like really quiet notes, and the app often doesn't recognize that, even though in my opinion, like how I want it sounds exactly how I want it to sound. Even though it's a quiet note, it's too quiet for the app. So I'm unsure whether or not I could ever gold star this. So and I'm okay with that. I'm judging it by my ears, not by whether or not the app says that I actually played it. So here we go.
Well done. You can continue to the next exercise.
Yeah, practically nobody's played that one. Basically, that one there is a good example of there's still some there's things in the app that you can't that the app doesn't really tab out properly. So what I mean by that is there's I'm gonna show you the actual tab for this, and it's gonna be quite a bit different from what you're seeing on the Yousician screen. It's like basically what I'm doing is I'm tabbing, or I'm tapping. Let's see if I can get this on the screen here. I'm tapping. It's two-handed tapping, and I'm tapping from, nowhere or something like that. I don't know how to describe that, but basically, it's like I'm tapping, like I'm plucking no notes. So I mean, I don't know if you can see this on the screen here, but how clearly you can see it, but that's just from nowhere. The very first two notes in this is just again a hammer on from nowhere, and also playing with time. So it's a bit weird in the sense that it's. Can I get rid of that screen? Why am I... Things are being weird. Why am I getting that screen? I am not entirely sure. I don't seem to be able to get rid of that thing here. And yeah, things are being weird. There we go. Anyway, yeah, so it looks completely different in app. Like there, you can't tell that I'm doing a hammer-on from nowhere. Like it looks like I pluck the note. And that says hammer-on. But clearly, if you... Let's see if I can find better... a part that makes more sense. Here, it says 7, 8. If you're playing that with a pick. And then 16. So... yeah, that's not what I'm doing. I'm tapping like completely with my left hand. Again, one of those tap from nowhere kind of things. Whoops. Things are going astray here. So, and obviously, there's if you look at the tab here, hold on a second, let me turn off the delay. This is what it sounds like. It's not as cool. That's all that I'm doing. Not to say that it's an easy piece to play, that I'm not doing very much, but the delay is what creates this illusion of complexity, or not illusion of complexity, but more complex sound than what I'm actually doing. I'll turn the delay back on. Okay, so to be able to play that, you have to... Let's see, what am I at here? You have to play that at... I've got it at 344 milliseconds for the delay time. So that's... it's to play it with the app. That's exactly what the speed that you need is 344 milliseconds. So if you play it on your own, you're clearly not going to, without the delay, it's not going to sound like the app. So it's pretty important to have that exact match thing, because if it's not exact, if it's just kind of close, like sometimes you'll have a delay pedal where you can just manually adjust it with a knob. You might be able to get close, you might be able to nail it, you might not, but if you can dial it in precisely 344 milliseconds, it's going to sound the same. It's going to sound exactly the same as what I'm playing right now. So that's pretty crucial. So there you go. This question in the chat there. I made a copy of the level of Canon in D that I did a gold star run. I saw it at the original level, got deleted, and some people really loved that level, so I made a copy. Oh, okay, I get it. Neat. Yeah. So what Matan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, is saying that basically the Canon D, the one that I have a video of, is actually a different version of the Canon in D that is in the app now. Why is it different? I don't know. So if you watched that video, my gold star video of Canon D, and you went to play it, you would notice that some things aren't the same, and they changed it, and I don't know why. I would actually, I don't even remember the original that I played all that much, so I'd actually have to sit down and watch my own video to see what's different. But it is different. Some people have said that they like that version better. I honestly don't have an opinion on it because, like I said, it's been ages since I played it, and I didn't really compare the two. So apparently in the app is a version of a user version of the one that I played, apparently. So I don't know what the name of it is. If you want to tell me what the name is, I'll let people know, but I guess you'd have to do a search for it. Let's see. Problem is Canon and D. I bet you anything there's a whole whack of Canon and Ds in the app. So yeah, which one yours is, that copy of it, I don't know. It's gonna be, that's the Yousician, so it's obviously gonna be yeah, I don't know. Yep, 3 years ago. So I'm assuming it's this one. I will edit this. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Let's see here. Yeah, did I cover everything? I think I did cover everything. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. And yeah, so if that one was the one, that lower level one, it's the app tends to under level Yousician user uploads. So that one that I just did a search on, it said level 6 or level 7 or something like that, even though the in-app one was like level 10. That's because whenever you do an upload, it tends to under-level things. Now, putting that to perspective, I just recently uploaded this picking exercise to help me with one of my own songs, and it's level 14. So does that mean that it's really a level 17? I don't know. Probably not, because I haven't gold started or anything like that, but I don't really find that one all that difficult compared to some of the other ones. Like I have ones that are like level 12 that I find more difficult than that. So it's just an algorithm. So it's hard to judge what level any sort of uploaded song is. So anyway, there you go. I'm not gonna play that one for you because that one is, even though it seems like only a few sections, it's actually really, 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 really long. So, and it's just an exercise, and it's really not that interesting. Whoops. I'll just show you what it is. I suppose that's not going to be very interesting or entertaining to watch. Anyway, I will be having, this will be a weird week for you guys, or for me, and releasing videos, because I'm going to be releasing 2 videos this week. So I'll be releasing one probably Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm also going to be releasing one on probably Friday. So stay tuned for that. You will get an email for those. If you have signed up to my newsletter on my website, alexisnery.com, there's a link in the description. So I'll be sending out an email for that for both of those videos, as well as if you haven't joined the Yousician Facebook group, there's a link in the description for that as well. So, like I said, I think I'm going to wrap it up. 2 weeks coming up this video, I'll be streaming again on Sunday. So that's about it. Thanks for coming out, guys.